Generations Bank has been serving the financial needs of the Finger Lakes region since 1870. Generations combines the best of modern banking with dedication to the local community. Visit them at mygenbank.com. Generations Bank, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
Hi, I'm Jim Sinicropi. Welcome to another edition of the FL1 Sports Podcast on FingerLakes1.com, where we highlight local athletes, teams, and events from all levels and types of competitive sports throughout the Finger Lakes region. And today we'll be joined by Tony Ferrara and Rod Verkey of the Mynderse Athletics Hall of Fame Committee ahead of this year's induction ceremony coming up on Sunday, October 13th at the Northeast College of Health Sciences in Seneca Falls. Now, Mynderse is one of many local school districts that has a athletics hall of fame, and these induction ceremonies that honor their past student athletes have become an incredible celebration of nostalgia, bringing together teammates, former residents together to commemorate the past, tell stories of their lives since graduating, and it's really kind of a special thing. And at Finger Lakes One, we live webcast the Mynderse Hall of Fame ceremony every year, and they're also available on YouTube, and it's really become something that families and friends of these people or fellow alumni can watch and kind of stir some memories of the past as well and make connections that they might not have been able to before. So we're going to talk about this year's induction class. We're going to talk about the Hall of Fame in general. But first, today's show is brought to you by Perfect Pear Eatery in Seneca Falls. The Perfect Pear Eatery, quality carry-out cuisine in Seneca Falls. Everything is made fresh with in-house smoked meats, comfort classics, desserts, and sweet treats, sure to please the entire family for lunch or dinner. Starting this month here in October, the Perfect Pear will be opening for breakfast from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. with a special Sunday menu that you can check out on their website. Also offering business lunch drop-off Monday or Tuesday. Reach out at perfectpaireatery.com. That's perfectpair, P-A-I-R, eatery.com, or call 315-712-4004 and look for the yellow door at 64 West Baird Street. So, fellas, welcome to the show. Tony Ferrara, Rod Verkey. Anybody watching this show from Seneca Falls knows these guys, but definitely have devoted a lot of time and effort over the last 15 years to the Mynderse Sports Hall of Fame, and it's really become one of the premier Hall of Fames in the area. Tony, tell us a little bit about like how this started 15 years ago and how it came about.
2009, Rod Verkey was the primary person that initiated and wanted to initiate a Hall of Fame. He's been associated at Lions where he worked and is also in the Cortland Hall of Fame. So he came to then Superintendent Jerry Macaluso and brought up the idea to introduce this type of activity for Mynderse Academy, which has had a tremendous history in athletics. So, he asked me, and we gathered a number of people together, most of which are still on the committee. Mm-hmm. And, we started looking in 2009, setting guidelines, who's eligible, who's not eligible, all of the information necessary. And then we had our first induction in the fall of 2010.
Yeah, and what was the main impetus behind wanting to put in the effort to make this happen?
Well, sorry. I had just come from, retired from Lions, and over there we had a senior for his senior project, and his senior project was to put in a Hall of Fame at Lions High School. Mm-hmm. So Harry DeCook and I, he was the principal at the time and I was the athletic director, we thought this is a good idea because so many other schools have had this process in already, and there's, just like every other school, we have so many great athletes at Lions that I think should be honored. So coming from Lions, I thought the same thing of Seneca Falls. Growing up here and watching athletics and having so many friends that are involved in sports, they deserve to be recognized and have a Hall of Fame. So that's when I got with Tony, and we put together a terrific committee. And the committees do an awful lot of work, and I'd like to thank them. And I'd like to thank Finger Lakes One, too, because you guys been with us from the beginning, and certainly is a historical reference for us and a good publicity, and we appreciate it a great deal.
I think it's great to have these induction ceremony speeches kind of archived, so anybody can go back and watch them, because that's the one takeaway I have from witnessing so many of these is it's a great opportunity for nostalgia that can connect with people that didn't necessarily even graduate with the person giving the speech or being honored, but anybody from Seneca Falls that grew up in Seneca Falls and maybe isn't there anymore, and they watch these speeches, they can always connect with something, the stories that get told, and then the fact to bring these people together that otherwise might never see each other again. They come back, especially with the teams that are honored, and get to spend the weekend. It's definitely pretty special. And can you guys must be proud of what it's become, but did you ever imagine it going 15 years and having the success it's had?
Didn't understand the magnitude of it. Growing up in Seneca Falls myself, knowing a lot of the players and former players, and there are so many that are already in the Hall of Fame that deserve, and there are many more that are worthy. And it's tough when you can only pick 5 a year. Some people feel as though, my son or daughter or I should have been in or not in. But as you said, listening to many of the speeches, and I can think of 3 or 4, Fran Piscatelli, Kevin Cabot, off the top of my head, that they just had such, Robbie Elcott last year, or 2 years, it just what they had to say and how they reflected upon their experiences and what it's done for them in their post-secondary careers and life and personal life and family life. Really, it's very heartwarming to listen to. Obviously, I've been involved in Seneca Falls in the district for going on 40 years, other than in addition to being a student. So it really is a tremendous accomplishment, I think, and this committee has done a great job.
Yeah, I agree. Again, this year's ceremony, October 13th, coming up at Northeast College of Health and Sciences. And so let's talk about this year's class and kind of give a background on some of the folks that are going to be inducted this year. One thing that was instituted somewhere along the line was the forerunner to the Title IX presentation. So prior to what year was it that women didn't have necessarily the same type of programs athletically?
It was enacted, the federal law was enacted in 72, starting with 73. And, a number of people were brought up as nominees, but technically at that time they weren't, quote unquote, playing a sport.
Right.
So that's when the committee came up with, and mostly, it was Rod's initiative to bring up the pre-Title IX. And obviously there were some great athletes that didn't get recognized as interscholastic athletes who deserve to be into the Hall of Fame.
So this year is Jane Rosencrantz, and Rod, tell us a little bit about Jane Rosencrantz.
Well, first of all, when we put this thing together with the Constitution, we wrote to just about every school in Finger Lakes to get their Constitution and their rules that they had. So we kind of gleaned all the things that they had and put them into ours. But in none of those, at any school, was anything to do with Title IX. So we thought this is unfair. A lot of women put in a lot of time and are very good, and we developed this thing, and I think it's worked out very well. So that's kind of unique, and I don't know how many other schools have gone to a Title IX thing, but we think it's very good.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And Jane is one of the ultimate examples of this. Her history in sports and coaching in high schools and college is unparalleled. It's amazing. And also, all the biographies will be in the paper pretty soon also. So the people that we talk about tonight, you'll be able to get their whole biography and read about them at that time. We can't possibly go through all the accomplishments of
Right.
all
Yeah.
the people here, but she was a great athlete, and I knew her family and knew where they lived, and myself too. I didn't really realize how far she had gone after high school and college as far as her coaching career goes. It was
And
simply amazing.
that's true of a lot of the inductees that come to speak. You remember what they were like when you knew them or when they played sports at Minders, but then you learn about their careers, and some have been incredible, which is a testament, I think, to Seneca Falls and Minders Academy to produce individuals that have had such amazing careers. And so that's always like a nice bonus too when you hear these people speak, because you hear the story of their lives that you might not have known, and really some incredible stuff, with some global impact in some cases too, coming out of Seneca Falls. Also do a lifetime contributor. That kind of speaks for itself. This year it's Mr. Thomas Gahn, and we all know Tommy Gahn pretty well. Probably the most decorated athlete ever to come out of Minders in terms of Special Olympics. He's made quite an impact there. So talk a little bit about Tommy. And how did that get choose? How do you choose someone to get nominated, right?
There are nominations, usually for the committee. Usually the committee looks at lifetime contributors.
Okay.
Where inductees, the committee does not make the nomination.
Mm-hmm.
The committee pretty much resolves itself to the teams and to the lifetime contributor. But specifically about Tom, who was one of my students, we mentioned Special Olympics, but, Tom in high school was a participant.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time after high school, he's been so totally involved with special needs and Special Olympic type activities that, the common person doesn't know all the time.
Right.
To be honest with you, I did not know how much he was involved until we, looked upon him, researched all that he's done. And, I think Tommy will be, he's a great person, and I think will be a very great addition to our Hall of Fame.
I do remember he was a varsity basketball player. He made a shot I'll never forget at Arthur L. Baker. And,
Right.
and maybe he'll tell a story about that shot. But
Hit the ceiling.
yeah, it was high art right down through the net. The place went wild. Now, if there was internet back then, that would have been the viral moment that would have caught fire because it was incredible. I was there that night. And
Probably be a top 10 on the ESPN.
Yeah, you're right, and without a doubt, I remember it, and I just remember seeing it. We didn't have video of it,
No.
But I'll never forget it. So then we have your actual induction class, which includes 5 individuals and a team induction. So this year, well, I'll go through one by one. We'll start out with Mr. Louis Rosieri, class of 1948, former St. Pat's principal. Is that correct? Talk a little bit about Lou Rosieri. And also 1948, how old is Lou Rosieri now?
Lou is probably close to 90, 91 years old. His team, he was a member of the team that was originally inducted. I think it was the first team that went undefeated, untied, unscored upon in 1947.
Mm-hmm.
So his team, he was a member of the team that was involved, but also participated and, was a stellar athlete in track as well as baseball and football. And then went on to become principal superintendent in, surrounding school district. And then after he retired, came to St. Patrick's and was principal there for several years. So he's been a vibrant member of the community and a contributor certainly to the community. And again, another deserving candidate.
And then Mike Hathaway, Mr. Michael Hathaway, class of 1977.
Super athlete. I remember watching him. He was one of the best lacrosse players that I had ever seen. He played football also and was very good at that, but lacrosse to me really stuck out in my mind. Then he went to Herkimer afterwards, and his coach there was one of my former teammates at Cortland, who was an All-American in lacrosse. And I talked to him about Mike, and he said he was just an amazing athlete.
And then here's a name that has a few inductees already in the Hall of Fame, but Mr. Robert Carasillo from class of 1957.
Whenever we put a Carasillo into the Hall of Fame, it really boosts our enrollment
Right.
and our attendance. But seriously, and most importantly, it's probably one of the most athletic and famous families in Seneca Falls. I couldn't even begin to name them all, besides Dom and Jean and Bobby, Bobby's daughter Lisa, and all of her and his, children, and a couple of them are already in the Hall of Fame. It's just first of all, family first organization, I call it, and second of all, not only great athletes, great people, and looking forward to hearing Bobby and speak. He's also a member of the 55 football team, and so, just a great family and is a great band.
Yeah.
Just to go along with that, they called that the golden age of football.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but I can't think of another town that has a history as good as Mynderse had during that golden age. And he was a part of all that.
Yep. Also from the class of 1977, Mrs. Molly Hanlon Murphy.
All right.
You had her in.
I did. Molly is a top-notch student, a top-notch athlete, went on and did some very good things. Minders at the time, again, it was, just in its beginning stages, but field hockey and, volleyball. And she has, a great family. And I haven't seen her in probably 40 years, but, looking forward to meeting her or seeing her and meeting the rest of her family. I think she said they have about 8 or 10 of them family members coming, including,
Great.
I think she's got a couple of children that are at the age of 4 and 7. So, and that's nice to have younger kids there to see and maybe gain an appreciation to what their mother or their father or their parents did, and, see them from a completely different light than what they see every day.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's exciting too. Like, she's going to prepare remarks and you have no idea what it's going to be. And sometimes they just blow you away. And then we have, from class of 1982, Mr. Robert Bachman. And Paul, we have the plaques that go up permanently in the Hall of Fame, the renovated foyer where these are displayed. And so every inductee is honored with a plaque. You can see there it shows his accomplishments across the 3 sports. And of course, everybody here in Seneca Falls knows Bach. And a lot of us remember, how dominant he was across all 3 sports. He was really an incredible athlete. So just talk a little bit about Bach.
And with the plaques, too, for anybody who hasn't gone up to the high school, there'll be a tour there on Saturday at 5 o'clock. So if you're from out of town or you haven't been around and you want to visit the school again and see the classrooms where you used to be and where you used to go to detention, all those things, you can do that. And the Hall of Fame, I think, is a unique and historical site that you should visit because you can learn a lot of stuff and see a lot of people there. And it's really a nice area that they have in the school there to do that. So if you get a chance and you're coming in, go to that tour or just make sure you go up there and see that sometime.
But as far as Bob Bachman goes, he was really a dominant athlete across 3 sports, and that's why he's being honored.
Yep, he's one of those guys that could play anything and did it well and handled himself well on the court or the field. I think that's a big part of the people that we put in. They had good temperament, listened to their coaches, and they were respectful of all parts of the game. So
after the individual inductees, there's always a team induction, and that seems to be a culmination of a great night because there's so many people that come together. And, when you see these teams get inducted, a lot of times you'll have rarely have the entire team, especially from teams from the 1950s, but it's the first time they're all together on the stage since they last played together, which is always kind of poignant and interesting to see. But this year, the 1951 and 55 football teams that you mentioned from the golden age of high school football, and we're going back 75 years now, but still those teams are remembered for their dominance, in the area.
True, and I've always said that when you go to school, you don't always remember who you sat next to in science or English, but you will damn well remember who you played next to on the line,
Yep.
or the quarterback that threw you the pass, or the coach that gave you all of this knowledge, and you always had a respect for them. I saw Chet Kaplinski in the parking lot at Tops yesterday, so we got talking, and his team is going in. He coached on one of those teams.
Okay.
And I was visiting with him about it, and he was really excited, and he's got some people coming to acknowledge him that night, and he was really quite happy to be doing it. He was my first football coach I ever had in 7th grade. And 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, I had to play junior high because you had to be 14 in order to play a high school sport. And
You probably dominated pretty well. For those who don't know, Rod went on to play in the NFL for a few seasons, so I'm sure that the middle schoolers you were playing against probably weren't too thrilled.
It's kind of unique and funny too, but for the 3 years that I had to play 7th and 8th grade, I was a quarterback.
Okay, well,
That was the last time I ever saw a quarterback.
but yeah. So how many people from 51, 55 are going to be in town for this?
Well, we are expecting, or we've been told that there will be 7 members coming from the 2 teams. And we've invited, and with some of the people, we've tried to reach out and exhausted a number of different family members that we might know, friends. But I think at the last count, we have 33 members will be represented. There's 5 actual living members that will be attending, and family members of some others.
Yeah, that's
So
great.
some of them are coming with, maybe one family member, a spouse, or a child, and others have 3 or 4 family members coming. So really looking forward to, seeing these people. And like I said, these people are in the 88 to 90 range, and, and it's very difficult, when you're trying to select teams. We try to diversify to the best of our ability, and we understand that, if we're going to go back, because these teams certainly deserve to be into the Hall of Fame, that you run the risk of, who's still alive and who's not alive. And so, again, we want to honor them, and, really looking forward to meeting all the people involved, either the players themselves or their family members.
Yeah, that'd definitely be a highlight of the night, and probably or surely something really special for those 7 team members that'll be there. That should be really something great. So if someone wants to attend, we can watch the live stream on Finger Lakes One, and after the fact the next day, we'll have the whole ceremony up. But if you want to attend, how do you go about doing that?
Tickets can still be purchased at the Seneca Falls Middle School office and the Seneca Falls Country Club. And if they know any committee members, we all have tickets or availability, or provided the opportunity to give them or to sell them tickets. Tickets are $40 per person. And, I've given the college a rough number. I mean, I think we're expecting somewhere in the vicinity of 150 to 160 people, which would be a great turnout. I'd also like to put in a plug. Not only Rod said at 5 o'clock on Saturday afternoon, those wishing to make a tour of the building, but afterwards, we like to have a informal get-together, and we're going to do that again at the Country Club at 6 o'clock on Saturday night. And it's free food, cash bar. But we invite especially all the local Hall of Fame members that are here to come down and commiserate with, some of the current people and some of the future inductees. But, it's nice to get together and share stories and talk about different things and whatever. I think it was last year when Sean Wilson he met the person that he broke the record of in the shot put,
Yeah, that's,
which was Bill Pagano. And, I mean, just for the two of them to sit there and listen to them talk about different things and whatnot and how it's evolved, it's just good stuff. You just can't put it all into print. You can't watch it all, but to view, to witness and listen to that, to me, it's just a special event. So.
yeah, and moments like that, because of this annual induction, when he broke the shot put record, he probably saw in black and white print Bob Pagano's name, and that was the end of it. But then, to actually meet the guy several years later. So, opportunities like that are really the main benefit of pulling this off every year. And it is a lot of work to you and the committee. Would you like to recognize anybody on the committee along with you guys?
I would like to say one thing.
Yep.
Ted Novak, if you've ever been to a Hall of Fame, he's the one that does all of our videos and graphics and stuff. He does an outstanding job. I've been to Hall of Fames in many, many different high schools. And the graphics and videos that we have are just outstanding.
Yeah, but it definitely takes it to a next level. And also, the way that they bring in some of the media from the day and photos, it really brings it to life as opposed to just, having somebody talk. You get to...
I'm not very technical at all. I can barely use my phone, but the way he goes through and puts all this stuff together and the time that he puts into it is just outstanding. And he needs special recognition on that. But all the committee members do a good job. But Ted has been with us for a long time, and the programs and everything he does is just super.
Mm-hmm. I should mention, I was in Ted Novak's fourth grade math class just down the hall from our studio here. I never would have thought that I'd be here, back here now in this capacity. But yeah, we're in the former school. It used to be the high school, this building, but then became the middle school in sixth, seventh, or fourth, fifth, sixth grade. But yeah.
I had Mr. Koplinski here in sixth grade.
Oh wow! So you guys went to school here?
I did not. I went to St. Pat's.
He couldn't get in.
So yeah.
He couldn't get in over here.
I didn't meet the qualification.
So one thing I gotta also say, because this is my household point of contention every year. My wife is an inductee. She's in the Hall of Fame as a member of the '94 maybe volleyball team, the only volleyball team to ever win a sectional title at Mynderse. And she lets me know about it. I was on a golf team that never lost a match, so I don't know who's going to end up nominating us one day. But that's my only shot to not have to listen to my wife every year about this time talk about how she was in the Hall of Fame. But yeah, it's that was a great experience because they're more recent grades. I think she must have graduated in 1995.
Five?
Yeah. So, and she's been in, it was about 5 or 6 years ago, I think they got inducted, but everybody from that team came back, and she would have never thought in a million years that team would ever, get back together the way they did. And they made a whole weekend out of it, had a great time, reconnected. So yeah, it's things like that make it special. You guys do a great job. It is the premier. Hope not to offend anybody here from other schools, but I think that the job you guys do at Mynderse is definitely above and beyond what I've seen at other schools. So it's been a great thing.
Jim, you put a personal plug in, and I agree with you 100%. And that's not, and I know you're not being fictitious or aggravated by it, but
Yeah.
it just goes to show you really what the committee endures throughout the year.
Yeah.
Because, we could put there's probably another 8 or 9 football teams that could go in.
Right.
So we try to diversify and not select one group over another. Yeah, we do consider, you look at the 51 and 55 team, how much longer will any of those be alive? I mean, who knows how, who will and who won't be alive tomorrow, but, so we try to do that. We also try to look at, women's teams, men's teams, different sports, because we totally believe that it is it's an all-around athletic event, and but it is difficult, and to point out the committee, in addition to Ted and Rod and myself, My brother Mike's on the committee, Lisa Carasillo Anderson, Bob McKebney, Liz Beck. And, there's just, it's just a group of people that, number one, are committed to Seneca Falls, are committed to Mynderse Academy and the sports, and they each take on a responsibility, and it is it's a very difficult job. You say, okay, well, you get together maybe once a month or whatever, but there's a lot of work in between committee meetings to, put things together. And
A lot of historical, archival work too.
Right.
Research. That's
is-
what always impresses me too, is some of the old media and photographs and that come out of it that may have been lost to time if it weren't for bringing it back for this. But yeah, it's I've always been impressed in how it is more than just Minders. It's really a celebration of Seneca Falls. People tell the stories of growing up on whatever street and going to this store and how they, playing ball in the sand lot somewhere. But also other sports like, Minders had a pretty incredible cross-country program or cross-country athletes, and several have been honored over the years. And it's always interesting to hear, some athletes from other lower profile sports that were really extraordinary, and how they use that experience and grew from the mentoring, from their coaching and all that. So it's always great. And it's coming up again this year on October 13th, Sunday. It's just always on a Sunday. Activities on Saturday as well. There's usually an after gathering for those inducted too on Sunday night. But this year, the 14th induction, October 13th, 5:45 p.m. start, and tickets are available at the Seneca Falls Middle School or at Seneca Falls Country Club for $40. And congratulations on something that started as an idea and now is in its 14th year, been highly successful. And I'm sure this year will be no different.
Thanks for all your help, too.
And thanks to everyone else here for joining us.
Jim, can I just make
Yeah,
out one
go ahead.
other plug? Unfortunately, I found out this at the last minute, but tonight there's a home football game. And I was advised that they are trying to, they have a free tailgating party, but they're also trying to invite any former football players from Mynderse Academy, current Hall of Fame members. They would like to recognize them. Unfortunately, I didn't have the opportunity ahead of time to get things out. I was just told about it the other day. So if there are any football players, former football players, current Hall of Fame members listening and would like to attend, the tailgate party starts at 5 o'clock. And the game kicks off at 6:30 tonight at Brockfield.
Who are they playing?
Lions, Sodas.
Yeah.
I think they're combined. Yep.
Thursday night. Is that on Amazon Prime?
No, not quite.
Thursday night high school football. You would have never thought of that back in the day. They would have never tried something like that.
It was Saturday afternoon at
1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, right?
Yep. Yeah, well, that's good stuff. An opportunity Thursday night or tonight, to get out to is it still Brockfield? Yeah, still Brockfield.
Yeah.
For
one of
the
the few
football
people
game.
that knew the Brocks.
Yeah, I didn't.
I had his wife was one of my teachers.
They came on September 20th, family members, to tour the facility and whatnot. I don't remember exactly how many were there, but, it was mostly their grandchildren, but,
For those coming into town too, I'm sure they're pretty blown away when they do tour the facility if they haven't been here in a number of years.
Right.
To see what's become of Brockfield and the track behind all of it. It's just so it's an emotional thing for a lot of these folks that haven't been to town in several years, sometimes decades,
Right.
to come back home and be honored, but also be able to see all the things that have changed and all the things that have stayed the same too, I suppose. So
and in the next 2 years, that whole area, the middle school gym, in the whole lobby and everything, entrance is all going to be renovated again. And hopefully, well, not hopefully, but I know the Hall of Fame Center will be enlarged and, made even greater than it already is.
yeah, big capital project, definitely needed back there, and for the basketball side of things, especially. Do you know, like, details of the plans for the Hall of Fame, how that's going to be included that we could share now? Or
Well, I'm on the Facilities Committee of the Board of Education, and first of all, the hallway will be much bigger. It'll be a bigger lobby. There'll be more trophy cases. We're also looking into a digital program where you can touch screen and you can pick on Rod Verkey and you can get all of his information, or Matt Verkey, or any other member.
Kathleen Sinicropi of the
Kathleen
1995
Sinicropi, right,
volleyball team.
Absolutely. Sorry, Kathleen, your husband got you, so that's okay.
Well, she doesn't watch any of this stuff
Well,
anyways.
she may watch it later.
She might. All right, guys, thanks a lot, and good luck with the induction coming up here on October 13th. And thanks, everyone, for joining us for this edition of the FL1 Sports Podcast. You can reach out to the show by sending an email to contact@fingerlakes1.com. For all the latest headlines, local content on the fingerlakes1.com local network, visit our homepage, download our free Android or iPhone app, subscribe to our channel on YouTube, and look for us wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts online. Thanks for checking us out, and we'll see you next time.